Good morning, everybody. I hope you're all well. My apologies for the lack of long form video last week. I basically just had nothing to show you. I've just been doing a lot of regular cleans, like ones that I do every year, every 2 years, and they're just not very dirty. I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of dirt on them, but nothing that you really want to see, I don't imagine. So yeah, didn't bother filming anything. Did put a short out, but I know, look, most of you don't really want to see them. You want the long form stuff. So back with the really grimy one today. So this is an old vicarage, an old Victorian building. I was actually here 5 or 6 years ago, and the black spot has returned, as you can see. It's not too bad. I actually did repoint this when I was able to repoint by hand. I didn't repoint the whole lot, just repointed any gaps to any solid existing stuff. Check this out here. This is amazing. This is an old well. So they've kept this, and you know what, I would have done the same. But instead of filling in the well, look, obviously health and safety reasons, they've got kids, they put a thick piece of glass over the top. There's some sort of metal supports there as well. So how amazing is that? What a lovely feature that is for the garden. But anyway, back to the patio. So it's not too bad here. This is where it gets bad. So amazing old oak tree there. That must be at least 100 years old, maybe even a couple of 100 years old. I don't know. I'm not a tree expert, but that's a very old, mature oak tree. So that tree will no doubt be protected. But the problem is it drops sap and all sorts onto the paving. Yeah, you can see, look at all that there. It's really sticky. Yeah, you can see there, sticky. There's bird poo everywhere. I mean, the pointing's not too bad actually. I didn't replace a whole lot. I just filled in the gaps. Like, so for example, there's good solid pointing there. There's a gap there. Obviously, I filled in the gaps. I'd like to think that the stuff that's missing is not my stuff and is the old stuff that I hadn't filled in, but I don't know for sure. But no, look, most of it's still there. It looks pretty good. Anyway, back to the patio. So around here, you would be forgiven for thinking this was black limestone or a dark type of granite or something like that, but it's not. This is Indian sandstone, lovely bright colours. So because of the sap coming off the trees and all the overhanging branches, it gets very, very dark, very, very grimy and sticky, and I imagine it's very slippery in the winter. So yeah, we're going to get this looking lovely today. So enough talk. Let's get set up and get this looking lovely again. So sorry, before I get set up, I'm just going to leaf blow all this leaf litter back into the borders. Really no need to sweep this up. There's masses of leaf litter in the sides of the borders. So yeah, I'm just going to blow this off into there, get it nice and clear, ready for the pressure washing. Let's do it. Deary me. These black spots are bad. I mean, look, we've seen worse. That job I did a few weeks back, that was worse than this, but in some areas it's actually worse than that. There's a corner here. It's mad. It's crazy. I don't know. I can't explain why it's so black. It's so black. Let me show you. Look at that. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. Just that corner there. The rest isn't too bad. I mean, it is pretty spotty, but that under there is looking nice. That pointing's looking good. That's the stuff I did originally. Looking really nice. It just goes to show what weather can do to your pointing. Because that just looks like I did. That looks like I did it yesterday. Anyway, so this isn't too bad. So from here onwards, that's about what I'd expect to see. I think it was about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 years ago I was here. And considering we're under all these trees, that is exactly what I would expect to see, that sort of darkness there. But that, I don't know what's going on. That's just, I don't know how to explain it. But anyway. So yeah, the customer is aware this needs repointing again. Because like I say, look, I only butted up to the old stuff. That old stuff has probably deteriorated quite a lot. I'm not saying my stuff hasn't gone as well. It may have. I mean, 5 or 6, 6 or 7 years for repointing, especially when you're around big trees, will be moving the earth underneath and causing movement in the slabs. I'm not making excuses. That is a genuine thing. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it's still intact, just got some gaps, like what it was like when I originally repointed. But I have explained to the customer that I only use flow point now, and using flow point on this is pointless unless you grind it all out. That is just as strenuous as repointing itself. Being bent over with a grinder, no, it's not something I can do. It gets much better on here, up here, but look, this is bad. Look at this. These are bad. These are like that job I did, aren't they? Gets lighter over there. It's weird. It's sort of patchy. I don't think I need to jump in straight away with neat using the brush. I'm going to go in 50-50 with the X-Jet. Some people have asked me why I don't just go neat with the sprayer. So the answer to that is the X-Jet can only do 50-50 maximum strength. That's the most it can do. And then yes, you could use a backpack sprayer, of course you can, but I can tell you now, even a backpack sprayer with Vuitton seals in it will not last long putting neat hypo through it. Trust me, the hypo will destroy it after about 2 or 3 uses. Plus, I do not advise spraying neat hypo through a backpack sprayer, because the drift is just, there's just too much risk of drift and it going onto plants and stuff. Yes, and I know you're thinking, well, if you always say to wet stuff down, yes, and you should be wetting stuff down, but when you're talking neat, then even spraying stuff down is still too risky. So no, this is why I use a brush, because it's controllable, there's no wind drift. Yes, it's harder graft, but that's fine by me, because it's kept safe and it's not blowing everywhere, harming plants or getting on window frames and stuff like that. So yeah, that's the answer to that. Anyway, X-Jet time. Okay, one last thing before I start. I will not be spraying in there with the X-Jet because I do not want to stain the wooden structure. That is untreated. That will stain like you wouldn't believe. Plus, it's not good for the wood. Hypo is not good for wood. It damages the fibres. So I do not want hypo getting on any of this wood, even if I do wet it down. I will go in there with a brush and a bucket so it's nice and controlled. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing there. Okay, let's get on with it. Good news. as I was decanting some of the hypo into the bucket, because I'm just going to go over some of these really bad bits neat. Some spilt onto the actual paving itself, so look at that. So clearly it's not black spot. Yes, it's definitely organic. I would guess it's a mixture of the sap and the rotting leaves and look, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say that is black spot that's done that, because I know you might say, well, we know it's not spots because it's not spots, but a lot of the time when black spots get so bad, they just join together and become one huge lump of black, and that's what I thought that was, and clearly I was wrong, and I'll admit that. But obviously it is organic, or the hypo wouldn't be reacting with it. So yeah, happy days. It looks like this bit's going to come up nice, really nice. So I'm just gonna actually brush this section with the brush, like sort of around this section here, and then I'm just going to spray the rest with the X-Jet. Let's do it. Wow, I am stunned. So that's one 50-50 treatment of quite severe black spot, and it's pretty much all gone. Yeah, there's some areas like here, for example, that were completely and utterly black, which are nearly done. You can still see there's some there. I thought I was going to be having to go over this at least 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times to get rid of it. I'm probably going to have to go over this section maybe, what, a couple of times neat. There's some little bits just dotted around, but I would say 90% of it is done just with that one 50-50 treatment. I'm shocked. I did not expect that at all. So yeah, happy days, guys. You can see there's spots still dotted around, but I'm going to wash this off now, and then it's bad round here. This is York stone round here. It's just the surround around the actual glass panel, but York stone is notoriously difficult to remove black spot from. It is sandstone, but it's a much denser type of stone. And it gets right into it, and it just does not want to budge. But anyway, I'm chuffed to pieces. I thought I was going to be here for ages getting rid of all these spots, so yeah, happy days, guys. So I'm going to rinse it all off, and then I'm just going to go around and spot treat neat. I did say to the customer I would clean that for them for free. That won't take long. Covered in bird poo and algae and grime. So that should come up nice. And also I'll do his table and chairs for him. As you can see, covered in spots as well. So I'm not going to be able to treat them on the grass because that'll kill the grass. So I'm going to put them back onto the paving over there in that corner there, and then I'll treat them over there. So yeah, let's do that. Would you Adam and Eve it? To you Americans that means would you believe it? A bird has just done a great big poo where I've just cleaned. Look at that. Well, I'll wipe it up in a minute. So, wow. That has come up amazing. I just wasn't expecting that at all. I thought I was going to have to do 5 times neat on a few areas, but it turns out all it needed was 50-50 through the X-Jet and then spot cleaned with neat. And I went over a couple of areas twice, so nowhere near as much work as I expected. Looking good. Definitely needs repointing now, but yeah, it looks really nice. Still damp in some areas. Pretty much got all the spots. I'd say there's maybe 1 or 2% left behind, but that's that's a very acceptable amount, and I'm happy with that. So looks good. I'm going to send the drone up now, and yeah, I'm done. It's Friday afternoon. Nice. I think it's about 3, half 3. Yeah, nice early-ish day. So if you're new to the channel and you've made it to the end, please consider liking and subscribing. It's much appreciated and it'll really help me out. So yeah, hopefully I'll see everyone next time. Cheers guys.